often gets angry and kicks holes in walls or punches holes in walls. When he gets angry and looks like he might do this, I react. How can I quickly de escalate the situation so I don't have holes everywhere?
Yeah, I mean, this is Tasha Shore is so good with boys with aggression, and it's a really how old we don't know how old the child is.
I'm I think he's around 10-ish,
This
let's say.
this is really just something to really take seriously. What I've seen is sometimes kids with aggression, when they become teenagers and they get bigger than the parent, they can be threatening and violent with the parents. And it's a really tough situation. It's really tough. Like your kiddos clearly suffering. They're so uncomfortable. They feel so threatened and so unsafe that their nervous system feels so attacked that they're kicking the wall, and they're just desperate for connection, for a calm nervous system, to feel calm in their body. I guess part of what this makes me think of, and I'm thinking more in terms of executive function first, but when I talk about executive function and people ask about medication, I used to be anti-meds years ago, and then I saw that medications, and I've seen kids get on meds and it completely didn't work for them, but I've also seen it completely change their lives for the better. And so um, I'm definitely not anti-med, but what if I had a magic wand? Before I'd use medication, I'd want to see what sort of the baseline of executive function is. And the only way that we're going to see that is through seeing if they actually had real restful sleep, the exercise and movement that they need, and the nutrition that they need. Actual food that actually nourishes the body, not just processed food all the time. And maybe even looking at Feingold diet, which is an interesting one, or elimination diets, to really see, because there's evidence, there's scientific evidence that shows about these things, but actually getting food that's nourished. So anyhow, the sleep, nutrition, exercise, once that's in place, now I should also add trauma. If there's past trauma, whether we know about it or not, it could be, there's what's called big T and little T trauma. Big T trauma would be like somebody was in a war zone, or um, their house burnt down. Those are gigantic traumas that somebody experiences. A sudden death of somebody. Those are big T. Little T trauma, or being mugged. Those are big traumas. Little T traumas are can be more like ongoing shame, or ridicule, or like somebody bullying them, like just making fun of them day after day after day. Those things can really be traumatic too. So anyhow, looking at sleep, nutrition, and working with the trauma stuff, to me would be, if I had a magic wand, I'd want to address this first. So with this kiddo, I'd want to see if those things were really worked with, or I'd want to be evaluating those to see where they're at. And then if we knew, those things are really good, then it's like, well, what's going on with this kiddo's nervous system? And either way, I mean, this is a situation to take seriously and get help. There are people out there that devote their lives to helping people with dysregulated nervous systems, through counselors, therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists. There are so many people out there that do such great work around these things, but this is not something to just look for quick tips on, but to like really dive into and figure out what is happening to this kiddo's nervous system. Now, to be more concrete with you, when you're in the moment, then you have to do what you have to do to get everybody safe in the moment. And I guess if I was seeing that in the moment, my first objective would probably be getting everybody in I'm imagining if this was happening in a school, like get everybody around in the hallway or the classroom safe, and then really probably redirecting them, meaning trying to um, get them not I wouldn't want to try to engage with logic and reason in terms of what's going on with the situation and why you shouldn't be kicking the walls, because it's not being heard. The amygdala is already triggered and the prefrontal cortex is offline, so you got to get that prefrontal cortex back. But really using soothing voice, trying redirection, trying humor, um, and something to redirect to get it to stop. and to get them to de-escalate, and then to dive into the what's going on, how can the attachment stuff, what do they need to feel seen and heard and understood and known and like you've got their back. What do they need? And this kid has a lot of needs. They really are not feeling safe if they're doing this. Even though they are safe, they don't feel it. So how then it's in the proactive, it's like, okay, talking to that kiddo when everybody's regulated. Hey, we need to have a talk. When you're feeling like this, what's happening beforehand? How can you notice? Tell me about what you were thinking before this happened, and and then if this happens, is there something you can do besides kick your foot through the wall? Can we give you something to kick? Can we give you something to throw at the wall? Can we give you a better wall to throw something at? Maybe we can give you a ball to throw at a cement wall. Is there a way we can get this energy out? This is your house and this is our house, and we want this house to be a really great, safe place for you. Is there a way that you can get that energy out, that and see what so I don't know if this is the best answer to the question, but that's what I got for you. And my brain's fried after an hour, but
Yeah, I really like that idea of in the moment remembering that your child is in the red brain, in the limbic brain, so the rationally being rational and reasonable won't work. And back to what you had said previously in the previous situation is when there is calm, that's when you can have that collaborative problem solving conversation and see if you can come up with some alternate ideas, because yes, this little guy has energy that he needs to get out and that's the way he wants to get it out, but how can we do it safely and so that things aren't being damaged, and see what he comes up with. Maybe it's a punching bag or a designated punching pillow or whatever it is. And Seth, you were explaining too in that moment, just to, if you can keep your calm as much as possible to help regulate the nervous system, because in that moment the child is feeling really unsafe. And that's the important piece, right? What's underneath that behavior? The behavior is the holes in the wall, but what's underneath is that not feeling safe.
yeah, and this kiddo has a short fuse, but what I mean by that is that with executive function stuff, the impulsivity, this is highly impulsive, and that's part of executive function. So inhibition means holding back, right? So if I'm driving and I want to flip someone off, my inhibition is going to say, "Oh, okay, interesting thought, Seth, but don't do that," you know. So that's inhibition. Well, this kiddo's executive function to inhibit that isn't coming on, and the impulsivity, which to me is the opposite side of the coin of inhibition, is taking over, and it's just, I have this impulse, this is what has to be done right now, I need to kick that wall, that's the only thing I can think of, where at least I'm not kicking person, but I got to get this energy out and I got to try to communicate, hey, I'm feeling unsafe here, I need something and I don't know how to say it, so, but to understand that this child's nervous system, it um, has learned or built or developed these reactions to doing this. And it's not going to change overnight. And the nervous system can change and does change. So that's the really good news, is that in time, this kid's body can feel safer and safer and safer. So, and again, that's why I said, with getting professionals, the sooner the better, involved, who have studied for years on this stuff. That's really what you want to do, is help get people who know what they're doing to help this kid's nervous system start to really change.
Thank you so much, Seth. And thank you, parents, all of you, for joining us today. This